Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
I am Gabrielle. I am a former New York Mafia princess, originally from Austria. I am the mother of 3 and the owner of Too Posh Boutique. And here with my beautiful co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hello, I'm Marcella. I'm a dancer, choreographer, model, and designer for Too Posh. And I say whatever the I want.
Hi, my name is Cruz. I am a stylist. I also own the Society Salon in the Design District, and I am a short little Mexican with a big personality.
I am Polly. I am a certified sexual health consultant and educator, former professional dominatrix, currently working at the largest adult novelty store in the Texas Panhandle.
What will they say next? Welcome to the Too Posh Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to our podcast where we have an extra special guest today. We welcome Jeremy Locke to our show that I am telling you guys. Hi, Marcella. Hi, Cruz.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Spider.
Hello.
He is a photojournalist, retired military photographer of the year 7 times, not once, 7 times over. Host of the Last Letters podcast that just recently hit global rank of the top 1.5% globally.
Wow.
Out of 2,891,468 podcasts as of today.
Wow.
And husband of D'Andra Simmons of the Dallas Housewives franchise.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going? Wow, I should have you in my back pocket.
I mean, I was like, where do we even start? But I think we should start how we met. We met through our Canadian friends, Billy Greer and Sean Cribbin. Sean Cribbin was on our show as well. He's the guy that escaped the most notorious serial killer in Canada. And Billy, the producer of their documentary, he's like, he fell in love with us and then fell in love with Dallas and then fell in love with Jeremy's wife and contacted them, and they figured out that Jeremy has a podcast, and then they hosted their red carpet first live
Of the documentary.
premiere of
Yeah,
the
this
documentary.
documentary.
And that's how we met Jeremy. That was at a time where we had done the podcast for a while, and we were like, yeah, I mean, it was cool, nothing to think about. And then he comes up and he goes, you guys know you're in the top 2%, right? And I was like, no. I have no
The
idea.
worst is I was like, is that good?
Yeah.
Like, is that bad? Do I want to be like 100%? She was like, no, 2%'s good.
And then he was 2.5, and now he surpassed us. He said, I'm coming for you, and he did.
No competition there. 2 totally different platforms.
I know, but amazing. I mean, unbelievable. Congratulations on that.
And you were on the show.
I was so honored
So-
that I was asked.
So really how we met was Sean Cribbin's amazing kind of
Right.
opening for his premiere.
Right.
And he's, Billy's like, oh, I got to introduce you to these guys. And I come over there and kind of talk to you a little
Yeah.
bit, Gabrielle, about your story. And I was just like, my mouth had just hit the floor. I was like, what? This can't be real.
Yeah.
Really? Oh my God. Like, oh, hey, by the way, I'd love to have you on. Maybe we do a little cross promotion.
I love it.
That was actually probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'm sure you hear
Get
that a
outta here,
lot.
really?
No, that is extremely emotional. And I had to do it at the same time my youngest daughter was graduating, getting ready to graduate. And the way that they do graduation, I had to put together all like a video slideshow. So I had to go back to when she was born and send Marcella pictures and everything. So I was an emotional wreck. And then I had to write my last letter. I was like, oh my God.
It's not easy to write a last letter. And
Very hard.
that's the difference, I think, in our podcast. Like, we really want you to reflect as a guest. You have to do homework to come on the show, and you have to write your own, your own last letter. And yours was beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, Gabrielle, I took away 2 main points. And I checked myself all the time. You gave 2 advices.
What was it?
Would your
gosh.
spouse approve of whatever you're looking at, viewing, or doing? Would you look at it right then and there?
Do
And that's like, man, I had to cut out half my crap. and the other is, thank God I'm older now and it doesn't apply to me as much, but man, I could have used this information, but not going out without the other one. I was just blown away, and I'm turning to Marcella. Does she apply that?
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Her and her husband. Yeah, they do. And it used to be funny because I would date people and I'd be like, I want to do whatever I want to do. She's like, okay, well, not all rules work for everybody, but that's what they've done for 22
years.
Yeah. And they do that forever.
I remember walking out of that interview just going, wow, wow, mafia princess kind of stuff. Holy crap. And then B was like, man, this is stuff I wish I would have heard earlier. And that's what Last Letters is all about, is meeting phenomenal people, being able to sit down and have a conversation with them. But then also, man, I'd love to get a little bit of advice from you. And it's just, you tuck it away until you remember it. And yeah, just so many like light bulb moments, not only with you, but with other
With
guests.
other people, right? Yeah, I want to hear what D'Andra thinks about that. The changed man.
So my YouPorn account is gone.
Oh, God. She wouldn't approve? I mean, I don't know.
That's
No,
funny.
there is a side of her that I call D'Andra. So D'Andra might approve.
There you go.
That is so awesome. But seriously, like, I mean, the life that you have led when I was researching for you to come on the show, I was like, man, unbelievable. But my first question is, have you written your last letter?
That's a great question. No, I have not, but it literally, I ponder it all the time. And I'm not ready to yet. And I think something to the fact of, you know, there's more love in the world than hate. I know we always see hate, hate, hate. And then the adventure and the love of travel, just seeing there's more to the world than what's right outside our front doors. And having that ability, whether you go a state over or town over, and just mix it with the people that live there is so life rewarding.
Right. So you want to do more things before you even think about writing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
those are the advices that I want to pass along. And when D'Andra and I think we've been married 8-9 years. I broke my old record. So,
Congratulations.
Thanks. But for our wedding gift, we traveled to India. And if you can live with a woman in India for like 2 weeks, we did 30 days, but 2 weeks in a tent where she didn't know where the bathroom flushed.
What?
It flushed right in a hole behind the tent. She didn't know that till the last day. If you can live with a girl like that for that amount of time, you better marry her. And it's been the best thing ever. So when we got married, we put together a book and gave all our wedding guests. And it was our travel of India. And the whole purpose is to get out and explore with a loved one, and how amazing that can be.
Wow. What made you choose India?
Oh, I love India.
Really?
Yeah. She actually was the first one to take me over there, and I fell in love. We went over there initially to do the Kumbh Mela, which is the largest religious gathering in the world in Allahabad, India. Like millions of people descend upon these rivers, that three of them, I guess, intersect. I believe I'm saying that right. And they go and they wash away their sins, they rebirth. It's incredible experience. And then I've fallen in love with the place, the food, the smells, the poverty, the people. I mean, it is probably the only place in the world that D'Andra says, hey, I'm going to go to India. Would you mind if I go by myself? I'd be like, nope.
Wow.
Nope. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they do have struggles, and
Yeah.
sometimes not nice to women and stuff over there. But I mean, it's a safe place. If you're street smart like my wife is, it's beautiful, and it's
Wow, I would
It's
have not
amazing.
known, and it's not been on my list to travel to, actually. That's amazing. You?
Same. India's like, you know.
Yeah.
I love the food, though. I love the food. I've just heard a lot that it's just kind of dirty
smelly.
Oh, that's the beauty of it. It is. And Cruz, man, you can go over there. The last time I went over there, I was doing a story on these Calcutta cabs, these cabs that are going away because Uber's come in and taken over. So these cabs that are pretty much the essence of Calcutta are now being forced off the streets. And they're like these old Cuba-looking cars. They're ambassador cabs. And it's just an amazing place. And we did this whole like 30 days. It was like 35 days. We did it for like $4,000.
Wow.
Wow.
And $2,000 was going over to, or was the airfare.
The
To the
flight.
flight.
Yeah, it was incredible. When I eat the street food and
I'm a street food lover. Like I love street food, That's something I probably would enjoy about India.
Wow.
I mean,
And the spiciness. I love spicy food too.
I do too. You were just recently featured in Dallas Morning News article. Would you please explain why this is just crazy?
Oh,
Just
you
wait.
saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. I
She
was like,
sees everything.
congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I was recently featured in the Dallas Morning News, but before that, I was recently featured in the New York Times, and that's what led to that story. And
Oh, I missed that.
20 years ago, when I was in my military career, I took the very first detainees to Guantanamo Bay, and that's kind of how the story unfolded. And New York Times, under the Freedom of Information Act, got the images, some of the images released, and they sent a reporter in and talked to us. So it's myself and there's about 4 or 5 other buddies of mine that showed the very first Guantanamo detainees showing up.
I mean, what was that like?
You treat it as any other mission, but then in the back of my head, I'm going, man, this is like breaking news. I'm doing something like, oh my God, my photos are going to be seen all over the world, because as a photojournalist, that's what I do is I show and tell stories in hopes that it travels. We want people to see that and see what's going on in our world, good, bad, ugly, beautiful. And here I was like, oh, I got this. My photos are going to be, they locked it down. Those photos, no one could see those.
They
Why
were-
was that?
Just because it was from what my understanding, it was for the Pentagon's, eyes. The best way I can describe it is like they wanted to make sure everything went right, but it wasn't for public release. And there's a lot of stuff that we'll take pictures of when I was in the military, whether it be death or ammunition or special missions that just don't get released, but it's still part of historical documentation. We still take those photos. We still do it so that maybe later down the road they'll be released. And these photos were released, and it was just kind of cool to see that. And it was like, man, see all those stories I've been telling for 20 years. I'm telling you, they're true stories.
true.
They're true stories.
Now you can document it. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That is so crazy. But like the pictures you took as a military photographer, so they told you sometimes like that you couldn't show them? Like, where did they go? Like to the military, like vault or what?
Yeah, it's called,
basically?
well, at my time it was called JCCC, which is it's just a server that inside officials can see and stuff. And everything's logged, so none of that stuff is ever gone. But just sometimes like you're out on a special. I was hunting for Bin Laden in the Tora Bora Mountains, and
You were?
yeah.
What?
Yeah, the last time we were close to him, and then years, had surpassed, and then they finally got him. But we were in God, I'll never forget this. We were traveling in the Tora Bora Mountains. We had intel that somebody died, and there was a big burial. People from all over the place came to this burial, and the measurements were around 6 feet tall, and Bin Laden was that tall. So we were sent in with some special people, and we were taking DNA samples. So really, and Tora Bora is also Bin Laden's like summer home or summer place. Like we landed on Chinooks helicopters, half off the mountain, half on. go, 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 go. And then the next thing I know, we're walking through mountains up and down all over the place. And then we come up over this one ridge, and it's like utopia. It's just like, ah.
No way.
Yeah, and it was just all lush and green with poppies. It was all poppy fields.
Whoa.
As we started walking through this village, there's waterways going over your head and just irrigating. This irrigation was so incredible. It was going all over the little village and stuff. Well, Bin Laden, from what I was told, Bin Laden, he was an engineer, right? And he designed that whole kind of thing. So we were there to check out some last known killed in action guys and unearth the burial and kind of snip fingers and take DNA. And yeah, so that's what we did on that mission. But the biggest thing, if you eat, Chris, you'll love this. The greatest thing I remember about that trip was, man, I was so hungry. And I just remember one of the special forces guys I was with, they bought a chicken from the village and killed, so we had fresh food. The best chicken I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, I was eating the bone. Whether I was so hungry or it was the best chicken, I mean, I'm sucking the marrow out, just cracking that bone. Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
Wow.
How do you get to become a
I was about to
military
ask that
photographer?
question. Where
Like,
it
how
started.
does it even? I mean,
Or were you into journalism or were you in the military?
Like,
Which one
yeah.
came first?
yeah.
I don't know. I know I was never into photography.
Okay.
College politely asked me to leave. I wasn't doing good. I was all in for the women and the drinking and stuff, and got kind of kicked out.
Kind of kicked out.
Were you
Did
from?
you
Are you?
really?
No, I'm saying kind of kicked out. I repeated.
Yeah.
Are you from Dallas originally? Born and raised.
No.
Where are you from? I want to just kind of know how you got there really fast.
Yeah. So I born to a military family. My grandfather, World War II Army. My father is an aeronautical engineer in the Air Force. So I kind of grew up kind of all over the East Coast. Mostly I call home Dayton, Ohio is where I live. And I love Ohio, but it's just not one of those places I want to go back when
I
there's
hear that
so
from
much of the world.
everyone from Ohio.
That's what my husband.
Honestly, every person.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Absolutely amazing upbringing. Loved it growing up there and everything, but there's too much more of the world to see.
Yeah.
So then I started working construction, and man, I loved working construction. I was helping lay brick and block, and I mean, it was an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. I mean, you just don't see that much here
Yeah.
lately. And it was just amazing. Then you see this, building or structure that you've created. I loved it. However, the guys I was working with, some of them had to go back into jail on the weekends. And I'm like, man, there's got to be something better out there.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm at wit's end. I'm just going to go see what the military can do. Do 4 years, get a good, trade, and then get out. So I thought, something in medical. I wanted to be an x-ray technician, do 4 years and get out. So signed up, went in. And
Which part? Army? What?
Air Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, I was Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
The smart ones.
No, we're just the ones that like the mint on the pillow at night. I can go out and play Army, Marines, and Special Forces all day long, but I want to come back and relax. But yeah, just my dad was like, yeah, you'll get that job. Went in open general, which it means they can give you anything. And I was given the job as an imagery processor. So an imagery processor is the guy who processes and prints the spy satellite imagery, the spy plane footage. So I was working in a dark room, sniffing chemicals and doing this. And I loved it because, this is during the Bosnia War and the first Iraq. And it was incredible. My work was being seen by on-scene battlefield commanders, the president, the Pentagon officials. But I have photographers that would travel all over the world, and this is back in the film days, shows you how old I am, and they would drop their film off to be developed. And I'm like, man, I'm processing and printing this. This guy was just in Africa or Vietnam. Or I'm like, man, I want to be here. I want to do what they're doing.
Right.
Career fields started merging, picked up a camera, and had some really amazing mentors and when I and did some workshops, and when I truly found out the power of an image, if you think about it, not 10 seconds, 20 seconds of video, but 1/8,000th of a second, one click of the camera can change a world. I was hooked. So the difference that you can make, storytelling. I mean, you guys are storytellers as well. The difference that you can make in a person's life, just Gabrielle, as you did to me on Last Letters. I mean, it's a powerful tool, and when used right, it gets my hair on my arms up, and I don't think that's the tequila.
I mean, your pictures are exquisitely amazing. I mean, I saw some before, but now when I really did the research, I'm like, my goodness, it's unbelievable what you have seen, the pictures you have taken. I mean, the stories you can tell, I'm sure from every photo is just unbelievable to me.
But I think you have to be a true artist to do that and really, really love that, to be able to see something through a lens that nobody else really can. I don't think that everybody could do that. And I think it's such an amazing gift to have, to be able to do that, especially in the type of war zone, if you will, that you're in, because that is not the average photographer's area.
My mom says I have a third eye, but at the end of the day, I think anybody can do it. I just, like anything, if you're a ditch digger and you love it, you're going to dig the best ditches.
It's true.
Right? So whatever you love.
You're passionate.
And I found this passion and this love in photojournalism and photography and telling people's stories. I mean, how lucky am I? One day I'm riding on a M1 tank down Iraq. The next, Haiti earthquake, Japan tsunami, working here in Dallas with homeless teen moms. I mean, not only do I get to live my life, but I get to live the lives of everyone else. But then you have that huge responsibility to do a really good job.
Right.
Right.
Do you get emotional?
I do. Okay. I'm a very emotional man. I'm not gonna lie. I love to sit down and watch a movie that's gonna make me cry.
Right.
I just don't want anybody else around. I'll watch it by myself.
I like that.
So I'm very emotional on that. But like as much death and destruction that I've seen more beauty, but I think there's that camera to me holds a little barrier. Like I'm watching,
protective.
Yeah, kind of protective.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also keep in my mind that what I'm doing is more important, right? Than how I'm feeling, right? And my feelings shouldn't be, as a true photojournalist. And
right.
God, we're not doing this today. But as a true photojournalist, I'm there neutral. I'm not on one side. I'm not on the left or right.
Right.
I'm not on one side or the other. Right? I'm there just to show you. It's up to you, the viewers, to make the decision of what's being shown. And I need to show it truthfully.
Right. So because of that, is that what inspired you to do the Last Letters podcast? Because I know that you take photos of your guests, right?
Yeah. So it's fun. I'm laughing because that was a very hard transition. So here I am, this combat photographer, military photographer, never used flash in his life. It's all natural. And next thing you know, I'm being asked to do kind of portraiture kind of work. And by no means am I there yet. I'm not there yet where I want to be. But as I started learning this, again, the hair, that's how I know, like your gut feeling.
Yeah.
My hair on my arms would stand up and I'd start getting excited about doing that. So with this portraiture work, I started doing, I work for a lot of nonprofits, military nonprofits, a lot of donation time.
Okay.
To them. And I have had the opportunity to photograph numerous Medal of Honor recipients. I mean, these guys are God. They're heroes. They're the guys that, like, you just don't know if you have it until you have it, right? And these are the guys that will jump on a grenade to save their buddies.
Wow.
Do I have that?
Right.
I don't know. And here I have these amazing here I have these amazing individuals that come into my studio or on location studio, and I get to photograph them, but I only get to photograph. I only have 15 minutes to put them at ease, but then I don't get to learn about them. And it's like incredible human beings that I just want to sit down and have a conversation. It's bigger than me. I want to learn about you.
Yeah.
I want to learn something from you, Gabrielle.
When I would assume there's a lot to learn from them.
Yeah.
Those types of human beings, because I don't know if I could do that. You know what I mean? That makes me kind of like, gives me goosebumps to think that there are people who could do that. And I think that your concept for your podcast is so neat because there's how many 2 million something thousand podcasts? I've never heard of this concept. And I think that is so amazing because you do have to put work in. I don't think everybody could do that, to write that, or I don't know.
It's hard because you don't know what are you going to say. And you know what was the hardest? The hardest part was that I figured it out what I wanted to do. I wrote it. And then I went, wait, holy crap. This is going to be out while I'm still here. This is not like
I'm not dead yet.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, whose feelings am I hurting? Who did I forget? Who did I not mention? Oh my gosh. I mean, it became such a big responsibility then. I really, when that hit me, I really figured out how important it was.
She's like,
Does that make sense?
I can't hide.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
That
And
was
you took it
crazy.
serious. And that's the beauty of it. And we had we've had a couple military guys on, and one of the guys we had on is Clint Bruce. He was a Navy SEAL, and he brought it to light. He's like, this is my last letter today. You know, as a military member, especially as a Navy SEAL, he had to probably write quite a few of them. So and he brought it into light. So maybe that puts you at ease a little bit. Today, this is your last letter. Although your last letter was pretty good. The music, she laid it all out for you guys.
I haven't listened to it yet because I don't know if I can right now.
Well, it was kind of like, I mean, in a nutshell, I was like, I'm always planning everything. Everybody has me always planning all the trips and everything. So I was like, what better thing to do than not stress my family out? I tell them what to do. Wow, sad.
It was honestly the first letter that we've had that, that way was with her and with you telling us, like, this is what I want for my children to do. It's like, it was the sense of like, don't mourn me. We lived a good life is what she's saying. She had a little craziness before. but then it was like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I need you guys to be okay, and I'm going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is everybody's last letters the same? Do they go kind of the same direction? Do people sometimes do things that you would never? What are kind of the most interesting?
So I had a couple of my favorites. I had Lisa Ramsey. She is a Dallas-Fort Worth police officer, and she was shot in the line of duty. She wrote her last letter to the non-believers in the world. And then she talks about her experience throughout the podcast. You get to know these people and you kind of buy in, right? That's the whole thing. It's like, I want to know about your mom and I want to learn about her before she maybe give me advice or whatever. And Lisa tells the story how she wanted to be a cop and then became a cop, and she was shot in the line of duty and died 7 times. She was brought back to life 8 times. And on her journey, she saw a vision of God, Jesus. And Jesus was like, okay, it's time to go. And she goes, no, I can't. And Jesus turned back around and he goes, like, what? And she goes, but my daughter, what about my daughter? And she tells the story like, yes, you're right. Go back. At this moment, the daughter is holding her hand. She might have been singing. I have to go, but was talking to her mom, and she came back to life. She's paralyzed for life, but she was able to come back, and she wrote to non-believers. I've had.
Now I got chills.
That's crazy.
I've had another Lisa who wrote to all the little girls in the world, And she was born to a heroin-addicted mother, chained to a prison bed. Fast forward through her life, Lisa gives birth to her third child in prison. And where she's at today and what she's doing amazing things, made
Whoa.
just a recovery. But she wrote to all the little girls because of how she felt growing up and what led her down, and just incredible.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
Yeah,
so
there's-
neat. That's what I'm saying. The concept is so amazing. And I think everybody always asks us what our show is about. And I feel, yes, they're different. We have different shows, but at the same time, it's the same idea of that
Concept.
people have such amazing stories to tell. And people have been through so many things. You don't hear about these things every day. And some people, you would never guess the things they've gone through or what makes people who they are. So I find that to be so fascinating, just human beings in general.
Like I was excited to have you on and hear your life story, because here you are interviewing everybody else.
I
and you
know.
have an incredible story, so many stories to tell. I was like, I don't think we're gonna get through this whole thing in an hour and a half. I mean, there's so much. Like, you've done so much traveling, so many unbelievable things. Like, I want to know about, like, when you said you were in Iraq and then the tsunami. I mean, what is that like?
It's
Different experiences.
just another day in my military life.
No way. Just another day.
Yeah, it was, again, when I was at my old unit, we had a commander, and he was like, nobody's special, nobody's different. But yet you had the big dogs, and I wanted to be one of the big dogs. And it's in life. I want to surround myself with great people. Look who I'm sitting at this table with. Great people that are storytelling, that are doing amazing work and telling people stories. I want to be around those people. I told him I'm going to make a difference. I don't believe we're all the same. There are special people. And by working my way up and truly gaining that power of the photo and through actions, you're the one who's picked for those jobs. I'm going to send somebody who I know is going to come back with the goods. And it's just like in work. You want to be that ditch digger. I'm going to hire the best ditch digger for it. So that's kind of how I was picked. So, Haiti earthquake was sent right down after the earthquake. Quick story, you could really, we were there days and days without showers and stuff. And there's a lot of death and destruction, but on a smaller level because Haiti's not really built up, say a city. So it was all little one stories that are crushed. And I mean, I remember seeing a body stuffed in a barrel because they were dead, but you just smelled death all over your clothes. And God, you guys have a happy podcast.
Not always. No.
But I mean, we like to hear the interesting stuff too.
But
It's
We're
just-
real.
But-
Yes,
Yeah.
real. My gosh, this is unbelievable.
But like the chicken, like there's certain things that you remember, and Haiti gave me probably the most I've ever been scared in my entire life in a
Really?
civilian situation and not in war. And we had been overrun. We set up food distribution point, and we're handing out food, and just more and more people heard about it. So more and more people are being funneled in, and they don't know anything way in the back, and they're just more people are pushing, and we got overrun. I had to dive underneath a 2-ton truck, a big truck, climb up on the other side. And as they were squishing together, I have this photo on my websites and my top favorites. But this old man trying to climb up and be squished, and this little girl on the shoulders of another man, like looking crazy at this old man, and they're just all being squished. Again, nobody wants to hurt anybody. It was just too many people in one place at one time. But I was scared because I didn't want to be crushed or panic.
My gosh.
Chaos.
So,
Chaos, yeah.
Japan tsunami, the most destruction I've ever seen in my entire life. Ridiculous. Like huge fishing vessel, like huge, on top of buildings and stuff. But the eerie part about it was we saw nobody. We were doing search and recovery, looking for people who might have been trapped or dead, and didn't find anybody. Didn't find fish, animals, nothing in the street. I'm like,
What
turned to
is
one of the
that?
guy going, what happened? He goes, it sucked everything out.
Yep.
All those people, all those things got sucked out.
Oh.
My team, we never found anybody or anything. It was just, but the destruction was unlike anything.
My goodness. Can you imagine?
Wow.
No, I watch tsunami videos sometimes, and it really cannot wrap my head around how powerful water.
I remember that
Mother
Thailand
Nature.
one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, here we have all this, technology and weapons and all that, but at the end of the day, Mother Nature's it.
Most destructive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell me about your Mount Kilimanjaro experience.
Ah.
That is incredible to me too. You do everything.
My wife, she, I was just up in New York City shooting a campaign and on veteran suicide awareness. She's like, you travel all the time. You're always going, I need a vacation. I go, babe, that's my job. I'm not there laying at the pool. That's my job. So again, like I said, I work with a lot of veteran charities, and I like to work with the smaller ones because more of your work goes a longer way. More of your donations go a longer way. And I had a opportunity through Last Letters. Brandon I interviewed, and he's like, we're getting ready to do this thing. Would you be interested in doing it? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I went up, I got the opportunity to travel to Tanzania and climb Mount Kilimanjaro with 12 other wounded kind of veterans, wounded warrior kind of guys, wounded veterans. 12 of us went up, 9 of us came down. So, meaning 9 of us made it.
Oh.
We didn't leave anybody back there.
Oh.
So you got to the top. How hard was that?
I kind of have like this little anxiety every once in a while, if I'm feeling too enclosed, or I was having anxiety, and one of the I believe me, I trained. I was doing 100 miles. The last 3 months, I did 100 miles a month, just walking, running, combination, hiking, all that kind of stuff. And so you go up, and you're going up 19,400 feet. So not a lot of oxygen. You can't train for that here in Dallas, Texas.
No.
And the heat wasn't there either, like we have now. But went up. We had one guy, Travis, who was on my podcast as well. Has no legs, and he went up on his knuckles and his butt. He made it 3 days, and it's just too long a distance, too hard for him, and he had to turn back. But he's going to go up. It's amazing to see this individual. Oh, it was incredible. And then we had Noah Galloway. He was on Dancing with the Stars, and he's missing an arm, missing a leg.
Wow.
He got up to.
He's got prosthetics. He's doing this with prosthetics
on his leg.
Wow.
He did. Yeah, he didn't have arm prosthetic, but he on his leg, and he made it 4 hours from the top.
Oh my God.
And had to be brought down.
Whoa.
4 hours, and
I mean, there was quite a few people without limbs, right?
yeah, oh yeah.
Are you looking
I
at
think
Yeah.
Chris always looks
Yeah.
while we're talking.
So and I'll never forget this. On his way down, he saw me taking pictures of him. He goes, "God damn it, Jeremy." He goes, I know it's your job, but darn it. Like, and he had to be brought down because he was experiencing altitude sickness. He was losing his mind just from the altitude. So unfortunately, he made it 4 hours from the top. But then we had a guy who's double leg amputee, Scott, and he made it all the way up.
What?
He made it on prosthetics. And the beauty with Scott is know your limitations. Travis, strong little ox kind of guy, but I want to do this all by myself, hands and butt all the way. Same with same with Noah, but Scott was like, I'm not too proud. I'll take help here and there.
Mhm.
My end goal is I want to be on that top of that
Oh,
mountain.
I see.
So that's a life lesson, right?
Yeah.
That we can
Yeah.
be taught is like
Yeah.
know your limitations, and it's
Accept help.
okay,
Yeah.
right? It's
Mhm.
okay to ask for help.
To get to your goal.
Right.
And
So
these pictures are incredible and they're amazing. And you say that you don't use flash.
no, there's no flash on.
And do you do
stuff.
that? Is that like in art form, or do you do that just because since you're in the military, there is like no light?
Well, so that's a great question. So why I was so against it was I'm a darn combat camera photographer. We can't use flash in combat. It gives away our position, right? Like blah blah blah. I'm against it. But again, learning and growing older and learning from people that there's a time and a place for everything, right? So photojournalism to me is showing the story as it happens, and that's not portraiture photography.
Right, but you
place.
have some of these pictures like at night, low light level and stuff, and I mean, it comes out like wow.
Yeah, that's the
It's-
beauty of the camera.
You're telling a story, but yeah, I feel your photos are very artistic.
So incredibly.
That's what I was saying earlier.
The
Yeah.
artist.
Like-
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the colors that you capture, and just not only the photo, but the essence in the photo as well. It's like wow.
So